And I think people sometimes miss that, that this is, like every job, it has its stresses, but it's exciting. I get to make a difference. There's so many things that I think, as women, it's, we create, you create something, and that creativity, that innovation, it's really, a great part of this role. So the first one is you've got to create, the desire and the willingness. And the second one is you've got to provide the opportunities. And that means, giving our female colleagues exactly the same opportunities as the men, which means we have to address things like, people who promote through, people who look like me. Well, that means that, our male hiring managers have to be aware of that unconscious bias, and we've got to prepare women to go into those roles and speak up. And that means creating opportunities to do job rotations. It means creating, moving people out of, their comfort zone. And, in the last discussion, we talked a lot about, looking for the best fit. Look for the person, and you can train, or learn the details. And that recognition that you don't have to have 100% of what it needs to go for a job. If you're the right fit, if you've got, that ability, then go for it. So I think it's about, addressing the desire and then addressing the opportunities, and being serious about it.
Thank you, Jo. But what were the challenges for you? Have you encountered challenges? Because we all know that this position in leadership is very challenging, but also rewarding, like you said. But let's also talk about the challenges.
It is, and I've been in this industry, a long time. I started, over 30 years ago. Yeah, I remember a time where I went into a factory and there wasn't a ladies' toilet. Things that are just, impossible to imagine today. So there have been a huge amount of changes, and there is the challenge of feeling like you belong. When you're in a a room with where everybody else is male and you're the single female, there is that issue of kind of imposter syndrome, of belonging, and of also being wanted. And I think the more people we bring in, the more women who advance, and we start to tip the balance, and then it doesn't feel like that anymore. In my leadership team here, it doesn't feel like that. I often sit in meetings where there's a female majority, and I could never have imagined that when I started. So I think for the women who are in those situations, persevere. And you also, you might be the only woman at the table, but quite frankly, everybody will know who you are. They might not know who those other 9 men are, but they'll know who the woman is, and that brings you great opportunity and great recognition. And capitalize on that. Really take advantage of it.
Thank you, Jo. Simona Almajan, would you agree? What's your perspective on this?
Yes, so I'm totally with Josephine on all the fronts. Especially, I would like to stress the giving the opportunity fact. Yeah, that's most important. That we have the means, we have the triggers in the company that we give this opportunity, and everyone knows that. Yeah, and it feels valued, and know that we in the company anything is possible. I have heard something which I liked. I think Ross said that the sky is the limit. Yes, so anything is possible. So this is, guys, don't get out of the box. Think about what you want. If you want that, talk to your lead. You have the one-to-ones. Speak out your mind. If you want to be a leader, go ahead with it. You will be supported. And we in the company, what do we do? In my case, for example, I am part of an R&D organization. More concretely, we develop software. We are somewhere at 26%. So given the fact that it's software, it's not very big. And we are having all this effort still. It can be better. in my particular case, I have four. Yeah, I have 4 women in my direct reports. All of them are leaders in Romania and in other countries. And I'm constantly discussing and helping them to want more. I think also there is this aspect of ambitions, of wanting more. And as long as you want, you want better, to be better and better and to get higher and higher, that's possible. So a desire is needed, and also the opportunity. Yeah. I think opportunities is possible, mention rotations or advancement in the career path. And companies provide the same career development programs across the company. There is absolutely no distinction. And what we have as well, and also in NXP, and also what other companies have, some development programs for women specifically. We have one from which we have recently introduced. It's kind of a 360 approach for developing and advancing women on the leadership positions. And here it's a 6-month program, for example, and 6-month program, and there are several topics from the perspective of sharing the story, so walking the talk in the end, communicating with confidence, and so on. But very important is openness and direct communication between the colleagues. Yeah.
How was for you personally? What changed for you personally when you step into the management position, Simona?
This is what I wanted. So I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew from the beginning, from the end of the university. For me, was a very, very big step because I had visibility. I was there in order to, and provided with the opportunity to change things, to speak up, to come with ideas, to be heard. So for me, it was absolutely important, and I am telling my story to everyone. And I feel very proud of that, and I am happy at the end of the day, even if at the end of the week I'm super, super tired, these challenges with the work-life balance. I have 2 kids as well, so not easy, but I am really, really happy about that. That's what I wanted.
Thank you, Simona. Andrada, what would you complement to this conversation?
Well, first of all, Ramona, just to clarify what Joe said, why I'm happy and, fortunate. We are fortunate because we have more than 70% women. So just to be clear, only Romania and 12,000 employees, we have 70% women. Out of those women, more than 50%, actually towards 60, are managers. Yeah, and the country management, so basically there are 10 people managing this 12,000 and the 10 plants we have. It's 50-50 men and women. So this, yes, makes us fortunate. But what does it bring us? It brings us diversity of ideas. It brings us balance. And very important, what I found and I really like, it brings empathy because it's important, especially in customer relationship. And especially actually stakeholders relationship. It brings the human element. Yeah. So we found that we can actually capitalize much more on that. Separate and let's say to complement, as I said, it's not enough to have it. You have to keep it, maintain it, the inclusive environment, which means we have development programs, we have calibration, we call it, I think everybody has calibration, but for us, it's actually quite fair. So it's a fairness of calibration. Everybody gets a chance to move forward as long as Joe said, they have the motivation, they really want it. If they want it, they can go forward. And there will not be a discussion about your boss not being fair, because calibration means everybody gets a chance to a panel of people evaluating. And what else we promote very much, and I personally promote, is freedom of ideas. Meaning there is not one boss who's in front and there's a team behind which nobody knows. Our company doesn't stand in one person or one woman or one man. It stands in the team, And because Ross gave example of let's call it male-driven sport, it's like the football. It doesn't matter who's the captain. It matters who takes the team forward. And we have the chance to have, let's call it a balance. And we like to keep it. Now, what do we do further than that? Actually putting words to action. Yes, we do have the university programs, the internship programs for everybody, but especially for our own employees. So we go with them. It's like a ride along. But starting 2 years ago, we actually developed a program with the high schools, because, it's wonderful, but we are in the part where, let's call it, we have a side of engineering, of course, quite developed, but we also need basic things, very important things like technicians, electricians, electromechanics, automatization, real people who are on the lines. And we are creating an environment for that. And it's not only men. You'd be surprised. I mean, yes, we have lady mechanics. And coming back on operations, we have I have to say, I'm proud of that. The best segment leaders, or let's say a bit more than team leaders on our production facility, are women. Yeah. And they are known. I mean, it doesn't matter who's the production manager. The ladies are known outside by the customer. They are extremely competent, extremely reliable, and we are proud of them. And what else is important? Of course, we have discipline, but we have a personal relationship. That means if I'm going on the production line, everybody knows who I am by first name. We talk to ourselves by first name. We have the safety of expressing our ideas. This is very important. Safety of expressing ideas. You're allowed to have your own thoughts, your own development, your own desires. And if you have a fear, let's share it. Yeah. If you have something which is doubtful, which I don't know, including the part of treatment, by the way, because yes, the world is wonderful where I am. I mean, I really have to thank my colleagues for that. I would never leave, as Anka said, I would never leave. It's really a wonderful place. And we do have a family. But I have to say, in my experience, like some years ago, I also was not in a happy position. Yeah. So by learning from that experience, I'm striving to bring an environment in which ladies can feel safe to say what's wrong. Not only to think about driving crazily to development without actually feeling anything. Yeah, because it's important. And also about knowing what you want. Sometimes maybe we need a bit of, let's say, a defining moment or a defining person or a mentor. The person who gives you a chance or gives you clarity, we offer that as well, internally and externally. And because I believe, and we believe, we have quite a good place to be, what we also encourage is to show others. It's extremely important to show, because otherwise you're living in your own ecosystem, which is not enough. Otherwise, the world is different. So we're making a step change towards making a difference and showing others what we have.
Thank you, Adriana. I think merely the fact that we are having this conversation now and there are a lot of people who are listening to us, it's one of the ways of communicating and speaking very openly about this topic. So Anka, what would you say to us about this topic?
So were so many ideas coming, and basically so much reality before me on my colleagues, and looking in our experience, and also as Andrada was saying, we are also having more than 50% women, and looking on the total employee, at least in my plant, I have more than 60% women, and in the management position, I'm nearly to 50. But I think that by bringing me in a plant manager position, let's say, as a woman, I'm also trying, and for sure we are succeeding to change a little bit the leadership style and working more with the empathy and working more with the force and not with the power, which is bringing a little bit more confidence in the women. Because as I said, from the education and from when I was child, we are just used to seeing and to look in the business perspective than everybody else using the power, using the ability of the guys or the men. And now we are coming and we are on the process to change this and to look more on bringing a leadership style looking more on the force and looking more on the strongness, which is not only power, because you are a man and you have ability, physical ability to change the world, but changing with your mind, with your sensitivity, with your ability to be emphatic, as Andrada was saying. Looking in my career, I don't know how happened to be in a management position, by just being curious and by just not being fear to experiment this, because my promotion was just coming from one day to another. For sure, having the possibility to gain the expertise in a training process, in an onboarding process, because now know-how you can find it everywhere. So only to be curious and motivated to take it. And after that, from one day to another was just, hey, are you looking to do this position because we are missing some? So I took the position of a production manager leading 1,000 employees. And basically was not doing this by power and look how power I am, by just listening, having the empathy and to understand exactly what is missing to my employee to be happy and to be integrated and building the connection. And I think that this was important. So giving them the feeling that, and not only the feeling, but building the team and to show to them that we are in the same situation. So if it's bad or if it's good, we are all together and we are a team and we are growing as a team, was just giving me the success to go forward. And after that, from a production manager, I was going in a logistic position. And basically that was for me a little bit interesting. And I realized that I'm a woman in a man's world, because logistic manager usually are guy. So it was for me the first contact with outside and with OM and so on, and all the time in a meetings with the guys. And for sure that at the beginning, all the time was kind of jokes. Be careful, the woman connected. But after a period of time, let's say, going in front of them with facts and figures and showing that I do not have to yell in a meeting and I do not have to abuse my ability that I'm more power than you, but look on the facts and figures, look on the data, and having the ability to analyze really well the data and to connect the data and to see and to show them that I'm having the empathy and I understand your situation. But on the other hand, look on the predictability side and working a little bit with more calm, and for sure using my ability as a woman a little bit and to bring more peace in the meeting was more constructive. And at the end, I was really seen as a manager, not as a woman or as a man. And I start to be more and more proud of me, and this was giving me the confidence for sure, and I was not hesitating anymore to go further and further, and after that to arrive in a plant manager position. So for me, I think that the key is to give them the confidence to the women that are perfect as there are. So the woman doesn't have to be power. The woman have to be strong, and we are strong because basically we are cooking, we are ironing, we are doing the laundry. But on the other hand, we are understanding very well the numbers. We are having the empathy. We are raising right the children. We are taking care. We are giving them the confidence that are protected, because at the end we are as a woman protecting the children when they are sick, when they have to be educated, when they have to go further. And this we have to do with our women and with our employees, not only with the women. So to give the confidence and to make the ladies and the women believe that are strong, because from the education, and I'm coming back on the education side, they didn't have this empowerment from the parents. So this is it, giving the empowerment and the confidence. And after that, for sure, to give them the opportunities. But if you are giving the opportunity and the woman doesn't trust in themselves that they can do this, they will not apply. So we have to force. And I believe that to force somebody to go in a position, it is the worst case scenario. So you can encourage, but don't put somebody by force because it's just a woman. Just develop it, give the confidence that are really good, are really strong, even if are not a man. And after that, we'll just be more women in a management team. They will be more comfortable, feeling comfortable, and they will just go on the path.
Yes, so indeed, you rightly said that it's about giving the opportunity and giving the empowerment on one hand. And on the other hand, all these programs, starting from internship and ending with mentoring programs, who are helping building this trust in the strengths, be it playing on the caring skills, on the communication skills, on the empathy skills, and so on are important. Simona Belea, your thoughts on this?
I have some thoughts on this. Everything starts with the leaders, and we as leaders and any other company leaders must be really careful in promoting a culture of equality and of inclusion. Of course, there are lots of things to say about equality and inclusion. I would try to just give an insight in what we did in order to encourage women and any other who felt they belong in the managers level to step up and claim this position. So we support employees. We support employees by offering them a sense of belonging, by hearing the voice, by making them feel valued. So our role as leaders is to indeed promote an environment of inclusion. And if we promote such a healthy culture, women will feel empowered to step up and take a leadership role. And let's not forget about the other way of development, which is in the technical area. So you can advance as a manager, you can advance as an expert in a field. And we have multiple examples of women who are experts, highly valued experts in their area, going to international conferences, presenting papers, going also in collaboration with universities, defending PhD theses and so on. So basically, sky's the limit again. I really like this phrase, but in the right company culture. Going to the second question, what changed for me when I became a leader? Actually, I had the feeling that I finally found my place. I somehow was at some point critical of some bosses that I had, and I felt that I can do better. I started to read a lot in the area, to choose some books and read and try to find exactly what fits me. And when I finally took over, I felt that, again, I found my place and that I was doing a good job.
Thank you, Simona. So basically what worked for you was self-learning and discovering a lot, looking at models around you, and also on top of the culture within the company, that was basically a great fit for you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Ros, what would you conclude basically on this subject? And of course, what's your personal experience since you took a leadership role?
So again, a lot of things are said. So what I would really make emphasis is on the word confidence. So be confident and give confidence. So as a company, we have to give confidence to the people, no, to all diverse people. And this is by example, the way how we speak, but also what we do, above all, what we do. And having women in a position already is making it true, no? So it's easier for the women who enter that they know that it's possible because they see already the examples. No? Also for the women who are entering in a male environment or less woman-friendly environment, you have to adapt a little bit the style, you know? So it's more a breakthrough profile. It's different, but always trust on your authenticity. It's really the authenticity that brings the added value. So what is the added value of one female in a male environment? It's the difference that you make. It's being different. It's your background. It's what you have lived as a woman and the way how you as a woman see the things. No, and this is really the strength. So being a woman in a woman environment is also a strength, but it's a different approach that you have than in a team. And then you will also look for the different hats that you can put. So it really I think in the future, the real leaders are the ones that are stepping out of their ego, stepping out of their comfort zone and look for different people than they are themselves. And this was the biggest challenge, I think, for the males that took us in the positions that they had to go out of their comfort zone and take somebody who's not looking like the most of the people of the team, not as their self. So if you want to trust somebody, it's always easier to trust somebody who looks like you. And that's from the same background. It's easier because communication goes easy from the start, but it's not at the end what brings the added value. So I would say to all the persons that are looking for personal and looking for growth in their company, step out of your comfort zone, look for differences, look for the potential of the difference that you can add to your team. And for the woman on this event, be confident. We all go through moments of not being sure of yourself. You go for a position, you're the only woman, or you're new somewhere, and you're not feeling comfortable, and you're not you can do it inside, but something is always holding you back, and you go through stress, and maybe I can do it, maybe you don't. No, just go for it, and you will learn it on the job. Really, go for it. Believe in yourself, and when you believe in yourself, you can also convince other people to believe in you. And so this is what I would give. What changed for me as a leader, and a little bit like Simone, I saw my bosses, and I say, like, I can do this. They should have another approach. You don't see that you hurt this person. You will need like months to get the trust of the person back. Don't you see that? So I say, I want to do this, and every time I step up, I want to go higher and higher, and I think I can do more. But also I can add more value to the company. I really believe in being authentic, having the experience that you have from another point of view. You can really add a lot of value. You can add more value than you believe yourself. So that's what I would recommend.
Thank you, Ross. We also have a question in the chat, and I will address it to you. The question goes like that: did you ever feel that you had to work harder to be seen same as a man in the same position?
Well, again, when you're in a breakthrough phase where you're new, I think whatever your background or your differences, you need to overcome the difference to have the trust of the person. So on top of doing your normal work, you also have to work a lot on the connection to convince that the perception is changing, no? Because the most difficult part of changing in humans is perception. When they have a perception of you as a woman, it's difficult to overcome that, but it's not impossible. So yes, sometimes you have to convince. And I would just not say work harder, but convince. Put effort in making the connection, in really making the thing that you have in common with the person, with your boss or with your team, to say like, I understand you, I'm with you, and this is how I can bring the value to you.
Thank you, Ross. I will challenge a bit more this conversation, and I will go towards managing this balance between personal and private life, because the pandemic, when the pandemic kicked in, we were all had to change our way of working, and not only us, our employees as well. So if we look around, we hear that there is really a challenge to strike for a balance, and I think it's important for us as well to share how we manage to do that. But it's important for the ones who are listening to us to learn from you. What are your tricks? What are your advices? How do you manage to keep this balance? And I'm coming back to you, Joe.
So how do I manage the balance? I think the first thing is to have a really supportive network around me of friends, of family, of people who will, kind of work together to support each other. I think that's critical. And the second thing is about managing energy. And for everybody it's different.
Joe, you switch off your.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay?
now it's
All
okay.
Right,
yes,
you.
Yes. The energy part you were.
Yeah. So I was saying, yeah, for me, it's managing energy, and for everybody, it's different. For me, I'm happy to work very long hours during the week. At weekends, I take that time to recharge, and to, I avoid reading emails. I have a blackout period where I don't read emails. I'm available for emergencies, but I have that time where I take time for me. I get out into nature, I get fresh air, I go out on my bicycle, or I go out into the mountains or walk around a new city, and take that time to recharge, to balance my energy, and then come back on a Monday morning refreshed, clear, and ready to go. So I think that's really important, understanding what works for you and how you can have that energy. And then, the final one is kind of an interesting one. It's about commitment. You can't do this unless you really want to do it and you're committed to do it. And part of my commitment is to be authentic. Yeah. I don't try and be somebody else. I don't have a personal Joe and a work Joe. I'm me. I'm me. And that's part of my commitment to doing this, is I can only do it by being authentic, bringing my whole self to work, the good bits, the bad bits, but all of me. And that's who my team sees. That's who my family sees. And they intermingle. I talk about my grandkids at work, but I talk about my work to my grandkids. And I think that's really, really important. And so to me, they're the three things, network, balancing energy, and a commitment.
Thank you, Joe. Simona, how you managed to balance this topic?
So, what is this balance in the end? Because there is no 8 hours. It doesn't mean that you have a balance at work as long as you work 8 hours, but in those 8 hours, you really struggle with what you do, and you are done at the end of those 8 hours, or could be 4 hours. Yeah. The balance is where you feel comfortable with it. In my personal example, I am okay to work longer. I am okay to work 10, 12 hours even during the week, as long as I enjoy it and I am happy about it. Yes, and of course, the other part of the family should be managed, remotely or somehow. But important is that I myself am happy about that. And that's, speaking of energy, that's related to where is energy coming. That's exactly where energy comes from. The people around, comes from the topics, comes from the result, comes from enjoying the actual work. Yes, supporting network, family, that's very important as well. But in my case, pretty simple. I have 2 young kids. That's what they have seen in the house. They have not seen something else, so they understand. And whenever I'm at work or during travels, if we are not face to face, I'm trying to keep the connection on WhatsApp and talk regularly. So this kind of simple thing. And as Joe mentioned, I'm trying to have the weekend for myself and spend the quality time with my family, not just quantitative time, because we can be in the house for 2 days and everyone does something else. But important is, if there is one day and not 2 during the weekend with the family, to do something together, all together. Yeah. So I think this story with the story with the balance in the end is, where is the balance? And the balance is in different places for each of us, and to be aware of it and to adjust it when you feel that it's not going into the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Simona. Andrada?
Well, Ramona, this is one of the most difficult questions.
I know.
The most, paramount answer. So, of course, luckily for us, we're different. Yeah. What works for me doesn't work for, Simona or Joe and so on. But I would point out on the first thing Joe said, it's a commitment. So we chose to do this. Yeah, we fully understood what does it mean to do this job, whichever one of us chose. For me personally, I commute. I commute every week. Just to give you an example, how far I commuted. So I commute minimum 3.2 hours to 6 hours commute. Yeah. So, but I do this because I feel nobody's requiring me. I feel that if I'm not there where the action is, it's just going to take longer. And we're operations, at the end of the day. So we're manufacturing plants. So it's a commitment thing. It gives me energy because I'm there. I know why I wake up in the morning. I have a purpose. It's extremely important to me. Yeah. Not just to waste the time. I have a purpose. I know what I want to do. And at the end of the day, at least in my opinion, of course, subjectively again, I've done something good. So that gives me energy. And I've been told, even last evening, I was told by a colleague from quality, I have too much energy. Actually, I'm looking for some more. But, I'm feeling like, he told me and I was totally down. And it's interesting how people perceive you. So they perceive me. I mean, Joe, we had the pleasure to meet face to face. I don't know how she perceived me, but apparently I'm a very energetic person. And I drive my energy from the result of what I do. Now, in the part of the personal life, I'm fortunate. I'm extremely fortunate. Maybe the ladies here are also. I have a partner who understands. She also has a quite developing career. We have activities which we do together, and you're going to ask, how do you do activities? You're not tired. Apparently, activities give you energy. Yeah. So we have this common passion in biodiversity. So we go up the mountain, we do observation, protect animals, protect forest, that sort of thing. Totally environment involved. And that gives the extra energy and the deconnection versus your Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday job. Yeah. And it gives you the extra air and power for Monday. Yeah. And to be honest, we do things. Our children are big, quite big. So they're really free now. So we actually take good pride in investing in the children around us. Yeah. So that also gives you energy. We have a lot of activities privately supporting the children community in our area. So this is how we balance. Of course, you'd say that gets you more tired. It doesn't. It's about what makes you tick. Yeah. So each of us at the end of the day should find what makes you tick, what makes you happy. Acknowledge it, embrace it, own it. And then you have balance. And if not, at least you're going to have inner joy. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Andrada. So it's about finding ways to search for this energy, to fill in yourself with energy. On one hand, looking at your passions and also looking at the communities around us.
Yes.
So I think this is also important. Anca, what works for you? You have your mic off.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm similar with the women from this conference. Obviously, we are in the management position, so I believe that we are having kind of similar things. So I think that, and as you said, balanced life means to be balanced inside. And to be balanced inside, this means that you are happy with the choice that you are doing. So obviously, I'm also deciding how many hours I'm staying at the office and how many hours I'm working. If I'm working in the office, if I'm working outside, important is to just have quality in the work and not necessarily quantity in the work. So for this reason, from my side, and this is the message also that I'm giving to organization, and when we are chatting and so on, I'm just saying, if you want to put a rule that at 5 o'clock everybody is going home, I will put it. But at the end, we have to manage ourselves, because to manage people we have, and to manage business, we have to manage ourselves. And this means that all of us, we should understand what we are doing, what is doing us happy. So for me, as a balanced life, I can work 10, 12, 14 hours. And as Andrada is saying, and I think that it's just a coincidence. Yesterday, I was in a dinner on a dinner with part of my team and part with the division. We did a workshop here, and a lady from my team was asking, Anka, I am looking to you and I know you more than 2 years, and basically I cannot understand from where are you taking so much energy, because I'm really all the time fresh at work, doesn't matter how many hours I'm working. And I was just saying to her that I believe that it is really important that I love what I'm doing. And this means that it's bringing me happiness, it's bringing me energy, it's bringing me motivation to go forward. And I believe that this is really, really important. How we are taking, for sure, in a personal life. And me personally, I never thought when somebody was saying that in a personal life, I'm doing this. I never thought that it is you professionally and you personally, because you are you. So as you are home, you are also in the business and at work. And basically, I think that this is the force of the woman, that we are really bringing us as an authentic person at work, and we are bringing the feeling of the family. And really important it in, let's say, outside of the organization, to have the right person near to you. What means right person? It is deciding everybody. Me personally, I have a man who is really sustaining me, even if I'm not married. So basically, we are really similar, or on some side, we are just completing one with each other. But if you really have the support and the confidence that you are near to the right person, let's say outside of the organization, you are happy outside. And when you are coming inside and you are doing the things that you love, with the confidence, and you see the right results, you are happy inside. What means balanced life? Just be happy. Choose your balanced life. And after that, do your employee happy. And they will just have, and they will live, let's say, in a balanced life.
Thank you, Anka. Simona, if you can also share with us, but I also have another challenge for you, because there is another question in the chat, which I think kind of links to what you said earlier. What specific measures did you take to encourage women to join your company? So you have 2 topics to cover.
I have 2 topics to cover. Thank you. In addition to what I already mentioned, I wanted to refer also to programs regarding collaboration with universities. That means internships, where colleagues, students from universities come and work with us. So they have also practical stages, and also collaborations with high schools. So we all have frequent visits of high school students who come and see our environment, see all the activities that we are having. And why is this dedicated to women, you may ask? Because they see already that we have a nice mix. We have a nice mixture of women and men, so they somehow join naturally then the company, because they see that it's a welcoming environment for everyone. This is one of the concrete measures that we are doing, and we are doing this on a permanent way, and it's bringing in good results. Now, going back to the question, I was really thinking what to bring new. And please, the ones who are listening, write down what I'm about to tell you. So I was this week in a program with a company, and we had a speaker, a very interesting person from a university in Paris. She's a so-called digital anthropologist, and we were discussing about burnout. And we hear this word a lot, but she said burnout might be identified by seeing these 3 steps. One is when you feel really tired and exhausted. Second is when you become uncooperative, so you stop wanting to work with the others. And third, and the most insidious effect, is when you start to doubt yourself. And I think this is a very simple model. Of course, maybe there are some other models, but this is a model that especially resonated with me because I have seen these steps in myself at some point, and I have seen these steps in some of the colleagues. And that's why it's important to detect these phases and to not let us go to the third phase with doubting yourself, especially in a leadership position. And regarding what kind of technique do I apply, I started to believe, especially in the later years, in the power of boundaries. We sometimes have the intention of putting ourselves out there more than 100%. And this might work for some time, but it's detrimental to our long-term development. We must keep boundaries. We must make these boundaries clear. And by doing this, we will then be able to save enough energy to recharge, to reflect, and to learn. So it's never a good idea to go more than 100% out there because this job is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And we need to be able to still be working with others, to still be not doubting our decisions, so going back to the model, and to be high performers. So please, those who are listening to this, take care of yourself, put yourself first, set boundaries, no matter if it's colleagues, projects, or bosses, because this is very helpful for your long-term development.
Thank you, Simona.
Thank you.
Ross, how you also see this topic, and what are the tips that you can share with us?
So I try to resume in very few words. So I would say self-awareness and organization. So first of all, when you organize yourself, I have 3 kids, traveling the whole time. They're already bigger. In different phases, you go organizing your family, partner, parents, brothers, hobbies, sports. You go organizing it so that you can feel rest or trust in the organization. So from that time to that time, and you know exactly what to do when. This gives me a peace. Maybe other people are different, but for me, organization gives a lot of peace. You have your planning. I plan every day my priorities, also with the family, that we really are united, that we can listen to each other, and also that they know that they are priority. Like you do with your team, they have to know by real experience that they are priority. And when your kid is on the phone because there's an urgency, you take the phone. Even if you're in a meeting, you take it. If there's in the hospital, they have to know that you will be there, And also for my team, I let them know that their life and their family and they as a person, they first are priority. But to know your priority, you have to be self-aware, which is very difficult. We are never 100% self-aware. We need to listen to others, how we are perceived, how we perceive ourselves, what gives us energy, what gives us meaning. It's very important to understand what is giving you meaning. And I'm kind of lucky that adding value to person, my passions are numbers and people and numbers. So adding value to persons, making them grow is giving me a lot of energy. I actually never felt exhausted from work, and for me, it's my passion. So I really do my passion every day. I see people growing. This is giving me energy, and I want to do more and more and more. So it's like a car that drives, and out of the driving, you're taking the energy, and you can keep on driving, like we do in mobility. But look what is giving you the energy, what is giving you the passion, and also what is draining your energy, because some situations will drain your energy. And like other people say, put boundaries on the part that are draining you and try to find out why it's draining your energy. Because when we are not 100% ourselves in our authenticity, then it's draining our energy. So what is the bias there? How can we overcome that? So really try to feel yourself the whole time and be very self-aware, organize yourself. And again, sky is limit. You can do everything. I'm active in sports. I'm training talents in my free time. I'm with my kids. They all have completely different hobbies. I'm there every time. We are very connected. Even though I'm traveling from Monday to Friday, I'm not even in my country. You just organize and make. And you have a lot of support system. No, I have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D. So I can really go with a trusted heart that everything is in order. And when there's an urgency, then I will make that I'll be there. So this is my recommendation.
Thank you, Rose, so much, and thank you all so much. The time flew with so much speed, and there are many takeaways from this event. But I will summarize by saying that what you said, that the sky is the limit. I was also very inspired by the fact that you shared your personal experience and your personal advice, your personal challenges as well, because let's face it, there aren't only nice things on the leadership and on the woman being present at the workforce. But what I'm hearing, and I think we should be all proud to see that in Romania we have strong female leaders that are representing the automotive industry. So I'm sure that Mirela, whenever you want to have a regional event, we have lots of best practices to share. So thank you so much for being us today. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your thoughts with us. And I'm handing now the mic to Mirela to say the final words of the events. Mirela.
I want just to thank you, all of you, for this inspiring discussion. It was very interesting for us, and to invite you for the next the Diplomat and Automotive Today events in our automotive industry, such as R&D, Automotive Power Breakfast in June, a Green Mobility Forum in October, and of course in November, Automotive Forum and awards, but will be face-to-face meetings and events. It's better like this, but it was a short event and we choose to make it online. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. And have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.